Today I'm in conversation with Eglet Mtengwa-Nyabvure, the founder and fashion designer and managing director of Pfeka and an audiovisual consultant. I go beyond the headlines and beyond the sensational. You're watching the UK series, which is brought to you in partnership with the Nyaradzo Group. If you enjoy this episode, remember to subscribe, to like, and to share. Let's get down to some work. Greetings. Welcome to In Conversation with Trevor UK series, brought to you by the Nyaradzo Group. I go beyond the headlines and beyond the sensational. If you enjoy this series, remember to subscribe, to like, and to share. Let's get down to some work. So, Eglet Mtengwa-Nyabvure, welcome to In Conversation with Trevor.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here, really.
The honor is ours. We're delighted to have this opportunity to share your amazing story, absolutely amazing story, with our global audience there. By the way, just to remind you, viewers all over the world, that we're currently sitting on 9.3 million views and 64,000 subscribers, which is why I would love you to enjoy our growing community of subscribers. So please click on that subscribe button, like, and share so that you don't miss out. So, you are, like I said, a fashion designer. You founded Pfeka. You are the managing director. You are an audiovisual consultant because you have an telecommunications engineering background. Wow.
Thank you.
Why do you do what you do?
It stems from passion. It comes from a place where I understand where I need to go. And for me, it's the question of identity. So when I got into engineering, which I was studying, actually it was a second choice. In high school or after finishing school, I actually studied arts. I did Shona. I was just looking for, subjects with easy points. I did arts, I did literature, I did
Which
religion.
university was this?
No, in college, that was in high school, Chegato,
okay.
Chegato High School in Berengwa, where I'm from. So when it was time to go to University of Zimbabwe, it's supposed to be, then I was told I'm going to be doing political administration. Then I was like, no, this is actually, it's not speaking nothing to me. But I didn't think through what I wanted to do. But I got to a point when I was like, what do I want? I really like to touch things, to open up stuff.
So you finished your arts degree, did you?
Not the arts degree. So it was just the arts subjects in high school before going to university.
Right, and then university?
Yeah, so university, it was supposed to be political administration, but I didn't go for that. So then I changed.
What did you go for?
Then I went for a college to do telecommunication and electronics engineering.
Which college was this?
PTC then, the TEL one. So it was actually... It was difficult for me because that was not university. It was a college. And people were like, yeah, you're not going to use it. You're going to college. And it was also done during the day and also in the night. So for people would ask me, they were like, you're doing college. But for me, the passion was like, yeah, it's actually by City and Guilds of London. So it was a good accreditation. So it was really something that I was like, I have to do it. So for me, change and passion is something that I've seen since, from school, that you have to follow what you want. So
where did you see that?
Boredom, or it just not speak you. It's just not representing who you want to be. And you look at the future, you don't see yourself in a certain space.
And
so for
say,
me,
this is not what I want to do.
No. And I'm grateful for the family because telling my mom that I'm changing, I'm not going to the university. They understood and they knew it anyway that, I think as long as you're going to do your best with this one, that's all right.
So you then finished. So that's your first pivot.
Yeah.
You're doing arts
Yeah.
in A levels.
Yeah, in A levels.
Then you, instead of going to university, you make a bold decision of going to a City and Guilds of London to do telecommunications.
Yeah.
How long did that degree take?
That was 3 years.
3 years.
That was 3 years.
Then you finished?
So I finished. So when I finished, also the interesting part, I used to pass by Philips in Masasa. I think now it's called Destiny in Masasa. And then I was like, I really want to do something with gadgets, with TVs and, X-rays and these kind of interesting things. And so before I finished in my second year, I was to look for an attachment. So I went to Philips. That was also one bold move that I did. I tell myself I'm just like one bold person. I went to them, no appointment. I went to he was called Mr. Easterbrook. He was the MD then. I was like, yeah, I'm studying at PDC, but I would love to work for this company here. And they were like, do you have any experience? I said, no, I'll start from wherever. Mm-hmm. And then from that time, they just liked the fact that I came there and asked for what I wanted. And then they offered me, okay, come as an intern, or we do your internship here, and then you grow from there.
That's bold, isn't it?
It is.
You just walk into his office
and
say,
is.
I want to work here.
I really would love to do this. I don't know how it's going to be like. So for me, all this, when I look at it now, actually in retrospect, you see like, you can tell when you need something and you can go for it, or you can ignore it. You can tell like, arts it's inside, and it's all it's up to you.
It's your desire.
It's your desire. And also just the boldness, the courage to like, this is what I want. Maybe it's not exactly how it's planned or what my parents are expecting or the society is expecting.
But this is what I want.
But this is what I want. And, I think it also pushes you to do more because you've put it yourself out like, okay, you want this? You think you're going to do it? You didn't do maths because I had to do math in college next to the telecommunications because I didn't do maths in A level. So it's extra work, but you have to work because I said I want it.
So you work with Philips takes you?
Yeah. So Philips took me in as an intern. So then I was on attachment there, and then I worked there for like 6 years.
6 years with
Philips. 6 years with Philips, yeah.
And then after that?
Then after that, I left Philips to start my own company, Tele Electrical. Then it was more also like because at Philips I was doing the telephone systems. So I was a technician installing telephone systems for companies, and I saw that there was this opportunity to just do your own thing as a person. You can go and buy telephone sets, install in houses, or even I started even to do like the electricals, like the ballasts and plugs. You buy in South Africa, you install it for yourself. But
where did these a couple of things? So there's the courage, there's being adventurous, there's being bold. Where do you think you get this from? From your parents? Is there anybody in the family who's done that?
My parents, they owned a business in Berengwa. So we also kind of grew up as a family running the business and trying new things. My father's shop had alcohol, had the bread, had the slippers. It's just, it's like, it was not just one thing, like, we're a grocery store, we only sell this.
So you've experienced entrepreneurship close hand at home.
I'll give it to them, yeah.
and then you then do your own little thing, your own company. Yeah. For how long do you do that?
It was because that was like 2005-06 for like 2 years, and then we moved to South Africa. My husband got a job offer in South Africa, so we moved to Cape Town for a year, and that stopped. I also then, when I moved to South Africa, I discovered that I was pregnant, so that also changed the shift of from career to a mom. And you're also in a new place. It's a new dynamic altogether.
So talk to me about the big pivot from telecommunications to starting Pfeka. Yeah. What was the thinking process?
So when we came from South Africa, my husband, again, he got another job offer in the Netherlands, where we're based now. And when we got there, we came as expats. So I had an opportunity to go back to whatever work or industry I would have wanted. So I went to engineering still. I managed to find a company that was doing telecommunications and also audiovisual equipment manufacturing. So I joined that company. And as an engineer, I realized that women engineers Black women engineers, African heritage were really like scarce. So identity also came to me as an engineer. Still, when I was back in Zimbabwe, I didn't want to be just like the boys. You know, you are a girl, though I'll dress maybe like the boys, but I always felt like I have to be different. So when I moved to the Netherlands, it was important to identify myself as an African, a woman, and not to be scared about the projects or about the different culture that I was now exposed to. And with that, I had to think like, how can I, of course, I'm Black, of course, people can tell I'm a woman of color, I'm this, but how can they actually tell exactly where I am from without asking me or assuming that maybe I'm Black American or whatever? So then I decided to dress in a way that spoke my identity. So first of all, I was just buying stuff from Nigerian shops. We all do, West African stuff. But then when you look at that dashiki, it's like, it's not speaking to me. I don't even know. And in the Netherlands, Vlisco, the biggest company that produces African prints, I'll put in quote African prints, is in the Netherlands. It's a Dutch company. So they produce in the Netherlands and then they send to West Africa, to Africa, And that story didn't sit well with me. I was like, this is not the African that I know. I'm from Berengwa. I know dust. I know sand. I know the mashingo. I know the animals. I don't see in the African print. So why don't I actually look for it somewhere? I didn't find quite also the quality. I didn't find that quality that I wanted. So I was like, come on, I'm an engineer. I design. I make drawings. Why can't I draw some patterns together and create something? So then that's where the journey actually started. Creating the fabric or the patterns that represent who I am.
This is what you're wearing now.
This is the Great Zimbabwe. Yeah. So you see the stone motifs. I will stand up later on so you can see the whole design. But designing or bringing the Zimbabwean story into the fabric and then have someone make an outfit that represents me was something that really got me into Pfeka or into fashion. When people started saying like, Eglet, what are you wearing? Which one is this one? And then I was like, yeah, I did myself. Then you see the needs. People want to connect back home. People don't have, Zimbabweans, atina chedu, atina, we know we're copying Pfeka Zambia, this kind of things. But why don't we change that?
It bothered you to the extent that you wanted to change.
It did so
Some
much.
of us ask the question, why don't we change? But we don't do anything about it. But you did something.
I did it. I had to.
How does it feel now?
It feels amazing, especially with people really embracing the brand and my work. And I'm still like, wow, we did it. It feels really amazing.
Talk to me about you then walked away from engineering.
Yes,
telecommunications.
Yes. So then I saw the need, and it needed my time to be able to find the fabric. Those would be able to put those prints in. And thankfully, if you have maybe a foundation that you can actually leave to focus on it, because sometimes we do side hustles and it will never grow because it's a side hustle. You're focusing on something else. I was like, I want this to grow. So let me focus on it. Darling, husband, please take care of us. So of course you are becoming, having one salary. It's not very easy. But you need to have a vision, and I need to also really include Humba.
And you need to have a partner who understands and supports you.
Absolutely.
Shall we give a shout out to him?
Yes, shout out to Humba, Makombe.
So he supports you. What about the funding part? Does it come in? How do you do it? I mean, every business needs
some sort of funding. This is actually something that I took a step backwards. Like before we go to funding, we need to stabilize the whole process. I need to be very clear of the production, of the fabric, of the design, of the whole processing. So actually we're just self-funding the whole time, even up to now. But because for the level we are now, we see how we can actually scale. We see people have embraced it beautifully. We see that it can actually beat Nike. It can beat Puma. It can grow.
My heart is jumping right now in celebration.
Thank you.
Say we. So husband is fully into this.
Husband is fully supporting. Though I'm more in the front, he's more at the back.
Doing his own work, professional work.
Professional work.
Calming you.
Calming me, and I also dream a lot. So like, okay, let's be realistic.
You're a dreamer.
I am. I'll go further. And I really appreciate him, because then you need someone who's more realistic, okay, let the numbers talk. Where are we? Oh, okay, numbers, by the way.
I want us to stop here, because I'm really looking forward to us sharing the material, the designs that you've come up with our viewers. So we're going to take a break here and then come back later. Viewers at home, don't you go away. Join us on the other side when we show you what Eglet has been able to manufacture. See you on the other side.
So when I got to have this order, which was like also beginning of this year for the Olympics, it was huge. It meant a lot. It was healing.
Welcome back to our conversation UK series, where I'm talking to Eglet Mtengwa-Nyabvure, a fashion designer, managing director and founder of Pfeka, and an audiovisual consultant. I thought, let's not keep people suspended in terms of, people say, is there anything that she does?
Yeah.
She actually does stuff.
Yeah.
So you've produced these products here. Just walk us through each one of them and what the thinking is behind each one of them.
Okay.
Right.
So I've mentioned about my desire to connect back to Zimbabwe, or to have something Zimbabwean. So what I did, I love sports. I think Zimbabweans, we just love sports in general. And I wanted something that can connect people. So for me, Team Zimbabwe was the first thing that really came to mind.
Mm-hmm.
How can we bring quality in sports as Team Zimbabwe when you're going out as a supporter or as a team with your subtle flag here? Also, what we
and your subtle, beautiful
Pfeka in there. It doesn't need to be too much.
Mm-hmm. The colors on the collar.
The colors on the collar inspired by the flag, our beautiful flag. And then you also see the stones also. So what we did with Pfeka, we tried to include stones everywhere in where we can do, subtle, bold, to represent Zimbabwe. The stones for us, just like Zimbabwe, simple. This is something that is Zimbabwean. So you have this, we use it maybe for the team, for golfing if you're going to golf. We also have
the hats.
The bucket hats. Obviously with the Zimbabwe, so you see mostly the Zimbabwean colors from the Zimbabwean flag. And these are actually reversible, and you still can wear it like this with the stones.
Reversible.
Reversible.
Okay then. There we go.
There we go.
Yeah.
Looking nice.
And also go that way.
Yeah.
And again
exactly.
There is handsome facha.
That's it, handsome.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Wow. This is beautiful.
Thank you.
This is beautiful. Zimbabwean colors. I love the Great Zimbabwe stone.
Yeah.
Reproduction there. Okay?
Thank you. And before we go to this one, I think I want to make it the last, because then it's quite special for us.
Okay.
So we also have maybe the different variations. There are people who also would not really just want to have the Zimbabwean colors, but they need a statement of Zimbabwe in it.
So this is a golf shirt.
This is a golf shirt. So I know Mr. Golfer.
Oh, wow, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
Am I going to get one?
Of course, in your size, this one.
There's some people who are watching now who want one, but they won't get one.
Unfortunately. But now they will have my contact, so they know where to get it.
Right.
But, it's just the detail that, if someone is particular about the detail, they can tell, like, what is this, Prince? Then you see the stones. We talk about the Kami ruins. We talk about the Zimbabwe. We talk about the sculpt. Down in Zimbabwe, the use of stones and how powerful it is. So thank you.
Beautiful.
This is how it is like. And so what we also managed to do is to work with different organizations, teams in Zimbabwe. This one was especially for the, when the Zimbabwe netball team went for the World Cup in Cape Town.
Yes.
They wanted some supporters mesh, something bold, something Zimbabwean, something that is just out there, to show that, we are Zimbabwe, we are here. And they had also a tagline they were using at the back.
At the back, okay.
Yeah, like so. Mafans Manyama. It was something that I actually had from the gems from Zimbabwe team. So it was like these little things that you can actually beautifully embed in the fabric. You know, it's something that's actually sublimated in, so it will not come out of that. And then recently, why I wanted to end with
Paris 2024. Yes. Proud of that. Well
that was
done.
a big one.
Well
that
done.
was really a big one for
Talk
us.
to me about this one.
So Paris, it's Olympics. It's huge. You know, we're at a time where, I'll say this, maybe before we even go to the design. So that's 2023 for us as Pfeka. We opened a shop in the Netherlands, a beautiful shop. We had got requests from the locals and also people who come to the Netherlands to visit. They want something African. And then it didn't actually work the way we wanted. And at that point, when I got to, so we closed it.
You closed the shop?
We closed the shop. So when I got to get the order for the
Talk to me about that, closing the shop. How long had you run it for?
We ran it for like 6 months.
Okay.
And we had taken a 5-year contract, you know, boldness, rental, you know, to get into that space. It was like in the heart of the city, very modern. We put everything, you know, we even invested so much in the furniture and the outlook of the shop because there was no African shop or in, you know, a shop that does Africa-inspired activewear, sportswear, anything beautiful. People that just used to go to the market to get, you know, African stuff.
So you closed it after 6 months?
We closed it after 6 months.
What went wrong?
The market was not ready for what we wanted or what we wanted to bring to them. When they speak of African prints, it's exactly the dashiki. They would want that material on sportswear. It's not possible. So when we had the discussions, when we did a market research, like, oh, sportswear, African prints, you know, people are just like, yeah, we're going to buy, we love it. And we had a positive feedback. Yeah, so that's why we were like, oh, let's do this. But when it came to the actual products, they thought it's going to be a cotton legging. You cannot have cotton leggings. So it was just also this people understanding what we really mean if we're going to do sportswear.
How much blame do you take? Because you can't blame the clients for not buying your stuff. No. What responsibility do you take for what happened?
It's the education.
Yeah.
You know, before you even bring your product to the people, educate them. What is it that you want to sell to them? What advantage? What's the difference from what they are? So we didn't give enough education that we are actually doing something different. What we're doing, you'll not find it anywhere. It's new. So it's not what you see on Shein or on website, on other internet and say, I want this. It's not
what
there.
What other lessons did you learn from that failure? Because that's failure.
It's failure. It's super painful.
Did it hit the pocket?
Oh my gosh, it did. Because when you have a 5-year contract and you don't fulfill, you have to pay like a year rentals. You have to pay the agent's fee. So we lost the money. So after investing in it, we then lost the money. And remember, this is house money also. It's our own funding.
It's your own money.
So
your own savings.
Yeah. So it's really painful.
Have you recovered?
It's starting to. That's just last year. So it's starting to. So when I got to have this order, which was like also beginning of this year for the Olympics, it was huge. It meant a lot. It was healing. And it was a lesson that I learned that I needed to be at a space where I can design something that's so meaningful. This did not work, but it did not stop me. You know, to reach that level.
It's an important step. It's an important lesson. It's a good season. Painful as it might be.
Painful. It teaches you about money.
Yeah.
It teaches you, because you know when you have to pay money that you don't have, or you're just putting, like, you feel like you're putting in a hole. But actually, it's a lesson to yourself. Now, when you give me money, if I give me £10, it's a lot of money.
What about husband? Didn't husband say, hey, what's happening here?
He's a super nice guy. You know, he of course, we had told, because what we did, we had already opened a shop in Zimbabwe. And this was the second one.
Old Hararian
Sports Club. So this was the second one. And he had already mentioned, like, maybe let's just give it time. But that's me going a bit faster. And he was supportive. Exactly what you're asking me. What lessons did you learn? Are you going to open a shop now? I'm super happy I don't have this shop now because I'm here. Otherwise, we could be running something back home. You could meet people. I've learned that networking is just important. So now I'm free. We're working more online and in Harare, which is working perfectly.
So then this opportunity comes.
So
you fall down, you pick yourself up.
I pick myself up. It's very important, and it's coming from a point of within.
It's authentic.
It's super authentic. Okay, we need to represent Zimbabwe on a world platform in Paris. What are we talking about? Okay, we're already talking about the Great Zimbabwe. We have this already with the other teams, but Zimbabwe also have other ethnic groups. We may not, show it everywhere here, but what's Ndebele? What is Tonga? How do people view Zimbabwe? First of all, Zimbabwe is blanket for everyone, but how do we also make it inclusive? So then it was just this moment of just taking all these little shapes, little ethnic patterns in, and the colors, which also was a bit debatable, because then I know people are talking about South African Ndebeles, or is it Zimbabwean Ndebeles, is the blue in the, but it's all this storytelling that you then say, okay, go back to your history. Where did the Ndebele people come from? How did they come here? This is the story then that you're going to tell when you wear a brand like ours.
I saw it started a whole debate on social media about is this actually, Zimbabwean Ndebeles or South African Ndebeles?
Exactly.
Yeah. And so you won this contract.
So we did, we did. They did a competition online to design for the opening ceremony, and we it was that just moment when I was really down. I'm at home. I just saw, okay, they want to design something. I drew something, a nice blazer and bottoms. I put in the Pfeka prints to them. I sent it online, and then Zimbabwe Olympics Committee was like, okay, we'll put it out. And then later on, we got a message, oh, Pfeka, you've been selected. And remember, more than excited. I'm not in Zimbabwe. I go in and out. I haven't met the Zimbabwe Olympics. I haven't met, anyone from the team. So for me, it's the trust to see our work, the quality of our work, even online. I know they've seen maybe the tennis team or other, but just to see being appreciated.
You had done the Davis Cup
team. The Davis Cup, yes.
You had done
the netball team, the hockey team.
So you had a track record of some sort,
which was beautiful for us, that we can say, go and see, feel the quality, look at it. It's really international quality, and this is what we want to present. So it was amazing.
Yeah, and Olympics was what, last month, eh?
In July, yeah, two months ago.
How is that journey been like?
Has it
opened more doors for you?
Yes, absolutely, because most people didn't know about us. And when people, of course, it's a national thing, so it's open for public. People have to say opinion, what they want to say, or what they think should have done.
People will always have opinions, isn't it?
Exactly. So then they would come to us, and contact. Then, okay, can we try the for our football team? Then we get this opportunity to do that. So that journey taught us actually to remain with high quality, but connecting back with the people. And it's been amazing.
Wow.
We're still going on.
Tell me the manufacturing process. I mean, there's the design where you are doing your dreaming.
Yeah.
There's the manufacturing process, machinery, and all that kind of stuff. Talk to me about that process.
Yeah. So for them, the bigger goal is for Pfeka to be made in Zimbabwe. It's a Zimbabwean brand made in Zimbabwe by Zimbabweans for Zimbabweans in the world.
That's the dream.
That's the dream. And we tried to do it, but the quality wasn't getting to where we wanted to be. So at the moment, the production, I work with different partners in different countries. So in Turkey, in Poland, in China, also in the Netherlands. And we do partnerships locally in Zimbabwe only maybe for the touch-ups or, but the bigger production is actually done here. So I choose the fabric.
Done where? In the UK?
No, not here. In the Netherlands. In Turkey, in Poland. It depends what it is. It depends with the production.
So let's just break it down. So what do you get from Poland?
If I'm doing, say, the activewear, leggings, maybe I go to Poland, or it also has to go with the costings. So these are my, say, fixed manufacturers or partners that I work with.
Yeah.
If I need something quick, I can easily go to Turkey. I was in Turkey last week. It's easy to go to. But if I've got a bigger order where actually they need time and they need a certain type of fabric, then maybe I use it in the Netherlands.
And China? What do you do in
China? China is mostly maybe socks or, bucket hats.
Socks. We've got the socks.
Oh, yeah.
There. Yeah.
Oh, yes. I can open from here.
Shall I?
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Those are the socks.
These are the socks. So
these are made in China.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. With the
Pretty much
Pfeka
with the
branding
flag.
there.
So this one is actually just for anyone who loves active wear, working out and all. You can just wear to the gym. And it's just the story that you're telling with the Zimbabwe bird and what it means to us.
So at the moment, you don't have any manufacturing equipment anywhere?
No.
Okay.
No.
What about the design side?
The design.
Do you do that yourself?
I do it myself, and we also have a team of 3 guys. We work together. So most of the prints and patterns I come up with. It's a Zimbabwean story. I'm the Zimbabwean in.
Walk me through that envisioning, that creative process of this is what I want to design. Yeah. How do you get into that flow, into that?
I get in the shower.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Eh?
Yeah, no, it has to come from a space of really calmness. And I mentioned identity initially. Who am I? Who is Zimbabwe? How do we show it as Zimbabweans to other people? People talk about negative, really, especially if you're in the diaspora, there's more negativity that comes out also about Zimbabwe, poverty. Yeah, I don't say there isn't, but there are bigger good things.
I like your creative thing, the shower thing, because the shower has done a lot of things for me. I mean, a lot of people don't know that. But the title Newsday actually came out when I was showering in Joburg.
Wow.
And as I was wet and stuff, the moment it came in and the branding and the tagline, I walked out of the shower wet and scribbled down. So how else do you get into that flow moment?
The flow moment, it's just reading. And I think Zimbabwean history is a bit neglected, or it's not compiled. So just finding information, not easily finding information, try to research it, and what story can you tell out of the Kami ruins? What is it exactly? And even for the Zimbabwean ruins, I was reading this story from a lady, I forgot her name, but she's a lecturer in a dean or someone in Cape Town. And she was mentioning, do you know maths actually started in Zimbabwe? Mathematics, look at how they layered the stones. That's pure mathematics. But we talk about maths came from out of Africa or somewhere. So it's those details that we need to embrace as Africans, as Zimbabweans. It's a beautiful story that we have to tell. So those little things that make me unique, that when someone speaks to me, I'm so confident of who I am as a Zimbabwean, and then bring it to the world. So for me, that's where the inspiration comes from. I want to bring goodness.
And I think the point that what makes us unique is where we come from. And there's so much of the beauty around, natural beauty, or part of our history and that kind of stuff. Eglet, we're going to take a break here. When we come back, I want us to go to the old Hararians where you've opened the shop and what that dream is. And I suppose to tell people who are you, where were you born and that kind of stuff. So,
okay, great.
At home, please don't go away. Join us on the other side.
Be intentional on keeping your identity as a person. The culture, we're raising kids in the diaspora. They try to adapt the Dutch culture, but I have the Zimbabwean culture that I want to impart.
Welcome back to our UK series in partnership with the Nyaradzo Group, where I'm talking to Eglet Mtengwa-Nyabvure, founder and fashion designer, managing director of Pfeka, and an audiovisual consultant. How long have you been in the diaspora?
16 years now.
16 years.
Yeah.
Does it feel like home now?
It has to. I think that's the it's the kind of difficult because it has to feel like home. You're raising kids, you want them to feel comfortable at home, but still you've got Zimbabwe, you've got parents, you've got families in there. So it will never be completely home, but you have to make it home.
How many kids do you have?
I've got 2. My daughter is 16, Talesia, and my son Ina is 14.
So basically both born outside
Zimbabwe, yes. Yeah, Talish was born in South Africa, where we were, and then in the...
And how talk to me about the good and bad of being in the diaspora.
I think the main good we saw, first of all, when we moved, my husband and myself, was the connection you end up having as a couple, as a married couple. And which I think when you're in Zimbabwe, you could do that, but there are so many diversions. Now I'm here. He has to take care of the kids, bring them to school. When he has to do his work, I have to also bring with the kids. And when we have our time, we actually intentionally make time for each other. I think it's something that I saw that it actually helps many people and couples when they move to the diaspora, because you have to do, Wumba has to cook. Wumba is, some things that probably you won't do easily.
So that's the good.
That's the good, that quality that you have as a family. The bad, I think it's more on the cultural, the identity. You have to always be intentional on keeping your identity as a person. The culture, we're raising kids in the diaspora. They try to adapt the Dutch culture, but I have the Zimbabwean culture that I want to impart. So it's a bit extra because you want to take the good Dutch culture, the good Zimbabwean culture, mix it, and also make it make sense to them. And it's a bit of work, and you have to, I'll say you have to do extra, to be at to the same level with my Dutch counterparts or colleagues or, in the society. So for me, that's the bad.
I heard you say you would want ideally to manufacture in Zimbabwe. I love my country. But when you talk about what you're doing now and already the quality of the material and so forth, how realistic do you think that dream is?
Or that can be realized. So when I visit, actually interestingly, in Turkey, I managed to go to a manufacturing house where they manufacture Puma for the team of Ghana, for the Ghana football team. And I managed to go inside to see the machinery, to see their process. We can take that and take it home. All we need is, and I think for Pfeka, it will be having a partnership of course, scalability. We need the finances. We need someone with the resources locally. It's the equipment, it's the knowledge. And we're talking about electricity. If we can use the solar panels, if we can use the water supplies, use what we have and bring the proper knowledge in, it can be done.
When do you think you might be able to do that?
I see in the next 2-3 years. We just have to build this path.
But what, in your view, would sort of quicken that process for you to make you think, let me leave the Netherlands and go and do this in Zimbabwe? What conditions would make that possible? Because right now you have problems with electricity, importing things,
yes,
and all these
that's a big one.
They're not insurmountable, but they're challenges.
Yeah. I think maybe just to give a heads or a thumbs up to Nyaradzo, what they're doing. I know they do have actually like big manufacturing places in Zimbabwe, and it's happening well. As Pfeka now, we were working more from a small point of view, family-run business. We have to scale. We have to include the people who are maybe more on the ground, who've done the proper logistics, they've done it before. People who know how to actually bring things in, good machinery from Germany or from Asia, whatever, and bring it home. So for me, I think for that to be able for Pfeka to partner with the right people that can actually bring this vision forward.
I have no doubt you can do it. I mean, you've pivoted from arts to maths to engineering to what you're doing now. So we wish you all the very best with that. Where were you born?
Yeah, so I was born in Berengwa.
Which part of Berengwa?
It's Langeni, Pamshana Primary School. So that's actually where my parents still are. So we were born there and we grew up there.
Your parents out in Berengwa?
They're out in Berengwa, and that's where we go every time when we go home.
So you can speak a bit of Ndebele?
A bit of Ndebele and Shikara. Yeah, kancane. But Karanga. So, we talk of Mahlahla. It's always like a mix. Our Ndebele Shona. Ndebele Shona. That. Yeah, so we moved I moved to, or my siblings were only moving to the city for university time. But
so you Berengwa, you then go to school there?
Yeah, I went to school. Chegato High School is actually also in Berengwa, which is like a few kilometers from home. And from high school, then that's when we went to live with my uncle in Harare. and then did my my college then there. Yeah.
College and not university.
Not university.
We've already talked about failure. Where do you go to in your mind as a person when like that shop gets closed? That's a painful place.
Yeah, it's
how do you survive it as an individual? How do you deal with it? How do you process it? What's your way of dealing with that?
It's going to my roots. It's going to where I started. It's going to think of Mberengwa. I'm in the Netherlands now. When you see me, also sometimes when I do AV consultants, you see me sitting with people with yachts, with things. Then I look back to where I come from. Simple, basic. Go to that space and find the peace. And of course, as a Christian, you can pray and all, but it also takes your faith and belief that even when I pray or when I go to that space of comfort, it's where I started, the humbleness of life. For you to be where you are, it's all lessons and it's all growing you to become someone better. I look at it now, though it was painful, I look at it now with it had to happen. And no one would have taught me the lessons that I have now, because you talk about finances, you talk about coming back about.
I love that. It had to happen. And you don't spend time pity party, regretting it. You don't regret it. It happened for a reason.
For a reason. And you have to find those reasons. Why did it happen? Where did I go wrong? What can I do better? Was it really for me? No, it wasn't. It wasn't. So that finding, that necessity, why it had to happen, is very important in your future, in your group.
The old Hararian shop, did you open it before you opened the Netherlands shop?
Yes, it was the first one we opened. Okay. Yeah, so we saw how it was actually flying. And we also thought it would be easy
different conditions?
Oh, totally.
Different countries?
Totally. We had to
so
really
how is that
different.
Doing?
It's doing great because I really appreciate how Zimbabweans are accepting us. We're becoming a go-to place for anything Zimbabwean. So when people go home, where can we get Pfeka? What is it? What's Zimbabwean? What's a souvenir? What can you get? Then they come to our place. And now for the teams, they've realized the importance of bringing in culture, heritage. Now I start to see also some other brands doing it, put in some culture, some detail of heritage into their sports kits.
You've done sports kits for Ajax, one of the Ajax
Yes, team. Ajax team, the juniors team. That was really big for us again.
Talk
a
to me
big
about
one.
That.
So it came through my son. I go to both of us, we go to his matches, to see everything. He's doing great. The Warriors should watch out for the next player. For sure. So they were looking for something also different.
Yeah.
They could go to Nike, they could go to Puma, but they're like, Eglet, you have a clothing brand. What can you bring to these young boys? They need color, they need detail, they need their own detail in the kit. So it was also to look at each individual child. How is his strength? And then you maybe write something inside that speaks to him, or when you're also presenting it to him, you give him the words that works for him. Mm-hmm. So that was actually a nice thing, which we also wanted to go into the Netherlands, into Europe with Pfeka as a brand, to showcase that as an African brand, we can also still be available in the international spaces. Yeah.
What's the next big thing for Pfeka?
The next big thing is working towards this production space. Mm-hmm. And it's a journey. It doesn't come up. We have to create the spaces that actually Pfeka becomes this place where you find everything authentic, storytelling, not only clothes. It becomes a place of finding history, find representation. And when we create that space, maybe not manufacturing, but a retail space that you can find maybe old Hararians or maybe at the airport, maybe, different places where people can get souvenirs. This is what we're looking at. And I think it's big because people are looking for that kind of thing. What unique thing, what not only the flag, what anything else that speaks Zimbabwe.
Are you looking at getting into our beautiful airport?
Yes, absolutely. A long time I've been looking at that, but I want to bring something different.
Yeah.
And now we're there. We've got lots of variety. Yeah. So we want to go to the airports, have a nice shop where people can get stuff. If they can not go to old Hararians, order online. But it's been happening. People have been amazing in supporting the brand. I appreciate it.
Talk to me now about your audiovisual consultancy.
Yes.
How is that going? Is that still a big part of your life?
It is, in the sense, what I've learned, or maybe that I can also share with someone, that never underestimate the experiences that you get in life. Most people are like, oh, I'm going to start a business, so I shut off what I've done. But what my advisor really advised was like, this is knowledge that you have. You're a woman engineer. It's something that you bring to the table that no other man can do, or no other person, no one is Eglet. So I kept it on the side. It becomes more like a side hustle. So I'll take it as consultant, because then I do projects. Currently, I'm working with the Japanese company. They do automation of creation of robots, they have to do like X-ray manufacturing or assembling. It's so unique. And I take those things, the precision, into Pfeka. So I take that inspiration, like, how can you bring that detail back into it, combine it? It's not fashion, it's engineering, but you bring it back. And it helps me also for the inspiration of bringing that. So I work with it. I take small, short projects, 1 year, maybe 6 months. And still it helps me to, process for my business. And just for myself also, it's nice to be an engineer at the end of the day.
What does it feel like being a woman, a mother, and doing what you're doing?
It's, it's actually very personal because I feel there is still need for girls to look up to someone. It's possible. It's doable. You don't talk about balance. I don't balance all these things. But you need to be clever in what needs my attention. Is it the kids? Is it the mommy hat that I have to like focus on my teenage, growing children? Is it the business? And then I'm able to like, oh, Trevor, we've got this business going, but unfortunately I can't because I have to attend on the motherhood. So it's this thing that I say, do not fear to be a mom, to be a woman, because, it's on the weaker side. We can do it, but we need to be very smart and be able to be intentional in what we do and how we're doing it. I love it because also you're coming in as a woman, as someone who like have to do extra, and I actually do extra and, fly off.
You are a big inspiration. I have no doubt right now that there's going to be a lot of young boys and girls watching you and saying, I want what she's got. What an amazing story. Our viewers who are all over the world absolutely love books. So what 3 books would you recommend, and why are you recommending those?
Actually, when I was thinking about this question coming through, I looked at the books that I had and I realized they've got almost the same theme and the same takeaways. So the 3 books would be, first of all, the current one I'm reading is The Girl with a Louding Voice by a Nigerian lady called Abi Dare. And it's about, she talks about a 14-year-old girl in the village of Nigeria who actually was living in poverty. She was made to marry an older man, and then that girl had a louding voice. She managed to grow out of the village through difficult points, go to Lagos, be able to, she was not allowed to speak, but she would just speak in a way, not that she wants to speak, but it would just happen. And for me, why? It reminded me of my story. I didn't grow in poverty or in that difficult situation, but you have to say your voice. If you ask me for an opinion, I shouldn't think like, what he's going to say.
Apologize
before you say. This is my opinion. Yeah. And it's an opinion. It doesn't mean it's correct or it's wrong. So that actually taught me, and it's something that I'll recommend. Read that book, you'll realize resiliency of that child. It's something that one has to have, and confidence. The second book would be The Lessons We Learned in Chemistry. Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie, I forgot the surname, but Bonnie.
Lessons in
Chemistry. She was a chemist. And also in the 60s, 50s, 60s time, it was a difficult time to be a chemist as a woman. But she was intelligent. But she suffered also a lot to show up who she was as a mom. The husband died, she was a single mom. At some point, she cannot pay the bills. But she worked so hard. She had to show that she can do it. question of resilience in that book really, really drove me. And then the last one will be We Need New Names. And as well, but No Violet Bulawayo. First of all, when I saw the title, the name No Violet, I was like, this is not a real name. And then I read the story. I was like, you can change your story.
We need new.
We need new names. You can change your story. You don't have to comply to societal, expectations. As long as you can
be who you are,
be authentic.
Pitch up authentic every day.
That's it.
Absolutely.
That's
wow.
it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I've thoroughly enjoyed this.
Same. Thank you so much.
I love sitting down with people who are actually doing real things.
Thank you.
Manufacturing the products that you've shown us right now. We just wish you nothing but the very best.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So
Thank
keep going, girl.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Allow me now to turn to our viewers who are all over the world to say thank you so much for your support. We value you. Remember, we are a weekly show. We are out every Monday on YouTube, 7 a.m. Central African time. And to ensure that you don't miss out on any of these quality conversations, please remember to subscribe, to like, and to share. When you subscribe, you get a notification every time we have one of these quality conversations. We're going to step further, by the way, and created a website where all our conversations sit. Go there and binge on our content as much as possible. We love your comments. Tell us what you think about the conversation that we've had. Do you agree with what Eglet has said and what I've been saying? Share those comments. We love to read those comments. Until next time, cheers to you all.